Welcome to PADNET Presents, a show featuring creative individuals that come through the doors of our Community Media Center here in Long Beach. The folks that we're about to introduce you to have taken our media production classes. They borrow our camera and audio equipment, film in our studio, and use our edit suites to produce content for the local community. The segment that you're about to watch is a collaboration of ideas. PADNET members met with each other to brainstorm the creation of this show. They start off with an informative discussion about health and fitness. Then they challenge you to think deeper by diving into depth psychology and how it can be seen in popular sci-fi show Star Trek. To end the segment, they chat about some of the shows that our members have created using PADNET resources. The process of filming this segment was a unique experience because it doubled as a learn-as-you-go environment. For many of our cast and crew, this was their first time working in a TV studio. Some individuals were being trained on camera operation, floor managing, and audio mixing just before we started recording. You may see a few production faux pas, but all things considered, we are very proud to present you this segment. Enjoy.
Welcome to the very first episode of PADNET Presents. My name's Maggie Mendenhall. Yes, we deserve a hand. And I'm very happy to be one of the guests today, as well as James Myers to my left, Andrew Berg to my right. And we're going to be discussing various topics in popular culture. We're going to begin by James, who's going to talk a little bit about health and fitness. So James, what do you want to tell the folks? What can you tell us?
So what I can tell you guys about health and fitness is that, I actually am a personal trainer by expertise. So
Okay.
I learned that me as a trainer, I have an advantage society as know how to program a client. But when I see somebody who watches television, they don't know how to know the prerequisite of how to have the prerequisite of their heart rate. So as of me looking at individual, I know 70% of Americans are obese. And a lot of them go to the gyms to do a lot of 45 minutes to say an hour walk. And knowing that the heart rate is not being pumped 70 beats per minute. And it kind of like shocks me because it's like just going out there trying to do something they don't know how to do. And they regimen sometimes never been met because they have a goal. And the goal is to lose weight. So when I find out as say like free weights, warming up, stretching, the things that we've been taught in schools as in for our everyday life, that we got to be able to understand how to do these things. So for me, being as a personal trainer, I noticed that, we're kind of like screwed that up a little bit. So for us, the pandemic, I noticed that a lot of people been, sitting at home, not exercising. Gyms is closed, gyms open, we back up.
Yeah.
And people trying to see, is it safe? So at home, I know the regimen, if you have a monitor, you can check your heart rate to see if it's 70 beats per minute. 2 is like warming up efficiently. Make sure that you're getting the blood flowing. Make sure you have the right water. I believe in alkaline water, pH level that you put in your body to have good output results. And also stretching, movement. Because kinesiology is a study of movement, the kinesthetic of movement. Once you want to have the movement of your warming up your body, you don't want to pretty much injure yourself.
Yeah.
So the movement is very, very important. And also too, say like in exercises, like say resistance. Resistance on the wall as you're doing a push-up. As you didn't have any weights, you will hold against the wall for 20 seconds and you're push against the wall, then that's your concentric, your eccentric by lengthening. So pretty much you hold against the wall, eccentric coming out. So it's kind of like one of those things, it's resistance. So you're working against the body if you don't have the type of weights or bands. That's one aspect. 2 is as in like a plank. Same thing. You hold against the wall, you hold in it with your elbows, and like elbows are like this.
Oh, elbows like
against the wall, kind of like,
like
and then
this?
you hold it
Like that?
and tighten up your core. It's one of the things you engage in your core. It's kind of like hard to explain because we're not on a wall. you're engaging your core to get that center mass strengthening. So you're holding against it like this, and you're pressing
Is this against the wall too?
Huh?
This is against the wall too?
This is against your forearm against the wall.
Okay.
So you're pressing against the wall, and you tighten your core. Your back is straight.
Oh. Okay.
So what it's basically doing is tightening up this part right here. So what it's doing is that it's engaging your core in a way as if you don't have equipment. And also too, this back in the day was common, but that's not common today because you're hurting your neck. So it's a safe side as in to get that results going through your center mass of your core. So when I was kind of like looking at different exercises, I noticed that a lot of injuries, you know, it's common, you know.
I wanted to ask you, because I know before you talked, you said the heart rate was really, really important.
Yes.
Getting the heart rate up. Okay, we can't really do this too much, but you can show us how we can check our heart rate, right?
Yeah, so heart diastolic and diastolic, there's two of them. So basically, you know, beats per minute.
Okay.
Count here, and then remember in school that you times it by 2.
Okay.
And then when you do is, say your heart rate is like, so start counting, and when it gets to 20 seconds, times it by 2.
I can feel it. Okay.
And then that's, so we know that's kind of slow because we haven't doing no movement.
Yeah.
So you get an idea when you do some type of movement and to get that heart rate up, you want to check it.
Okay.
And the reason why you want to check it because that's going to tell you how hard you pushing against your body.
And what should people be aiming for? That's
120.
120.
Yes.
So that would be, so you would want 60 and then double it by 2, or?
No, 80 by 2.
80, okay. Okay, so we're going like for 20 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Okay.
And then also too, when you get that formula, it's a formula.
Okay.
Because remember, if it's slow, it's pretty much you're not doing nothing towards the body.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why I use that. Okay, walking on the treadmill, it's sad, but it's not really doing nothing. It's not doing a service.
Okay. So if someone wanted to start exercising, who hadn't exercised for a while, what would you say is the first thing to do?
The first thing I always suggest, the band is to me is one of the best thing because it's concerts are eccentric. When you have that elastic band, when you pull it towards you, you can feel the tension in the arms.
Okay.
Like say you're doing a bicep, tricep.
All right.
When you pull it, you can see that concentric, it's shortening. Then when you're lengthening, you see as it is kind of like elasticity of the muscle is stretching.
Okay.
And you keep doing that, you'll see if the band is a safe way because it's not an object like a weight. You know, the weight you have no control. It could drop you down. It can do so many things. You have control with the band, and when you have control with the band, it's kind of like it's forming your muscles. I have clients that I use them on the bands because I want to see how the posture, how they could control a different type of weight. And the thing is, it's not common like it was, during the 70s or 80s. It's that we're more of, having clients safe in the exercise.
So the band's even better than, if you're supposed to start doing like little weights, you would say go do the band instead.
So I have a 90-pound band.
Okay.
And the 90-pound band is just as much as a 90-pound weight.
Wow.
So it's one of those things as in that you can get work efficiently with the band.
Okay.
And it just, I have a client right now that said, man, this is really working because instead of hurting yourself, you can have control with the band.
And these are the bands that got the little.
No, this is the band. It's a 24-inch band.
Okay.
It's really about, say that's 4 inches.
Okay.
And it's really like, it's some work.
It's 4 inches wide?
4 inches wide,
wow.
24 inches. I used to have it, so when I come here, so I have it, and I have my clients work out.
You can see I'm such an expert. All right, I've been monopolizing him. You got an expert here.
I'm learning. Myself.
I didn't know the band, like, yeah.
Resistance training.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah. Well, all right. Anything else that we haven't touched on that you really want to put out there?
What I want to put out there, knowing your body, knowing that your health is everything.
That's true.
Your health is, is your everyday living. When you wake up in the morning, you gotta, people drink the coffee, the tea.
Uh-huh.
I'm a strong believer as, have a balanced lifestyle as diet.
Okay.
And the reason why, because when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up with cramps, you're not going to be able to start your day. If you wake up with a headache, you're not going to be able to start your day.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have your regimen of your health. Very important. I'm really a strong believer because I had worked with somebody. He had cancer.
Oh, man.
And then, I had to, take him out of bed, pick him up, and, how he could get his exercise, how to, run the block. I had really had to, to work this. And then me seeing him, on his last, days, it's kind of like, okay, exercise was very important. He really wanted to exercise.
Yeah,
He really wanted somebody to, hey, can you move my arm? Can you take me around the block? He saw it very important. And just want to tell everybody, yes, it's very important, to get your exercise going on, your regimen, and don't hurt yourself. It's a process in life.
Yeah.
And you want how you see your results and make sure that everything's in place. That's pretty much very important, yes.
That's wonderful. I wonder how many, trainers have worked with someone, that to their end of their days. That's really,
yes,
that's a wonderful story.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Quick segue. I don't know. How can you
You're
talk?
never too old to be healthy.
There you go.
Yes.
That's
I like
that's
that, yes.
true. Yeah, because your health is everything. It's true. So speaking of health, psychological health or depth psychology is something that I'm interested in, and I've actually been using Star Trek to explain it. And a shorthand of it, for any of you who've ever seen the original series, I think the 5th episode was The Enemy Within. Have you ever seen with it's good Kirk and evil Kirk?
With the goatees.
No, that's when they went to a parallel universe.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is just Kirk.
Okay.
This is just Kirk. I know when you're talking about when the whole, and Uhura is wearing the little midriff. Well, yeah.
I've seen many.
Yes, you've seen many. Okay. But anyways, the reason I was saying that is that it kind of puts Jungian depth psychology in a nutshell, is that there's one part of us which is the conscious and one part is the unconscious, but we need them both, just like Kirk needed, when good Kirk did not have the evil Kirk, he didn't have the strength of command. He couldn't make decisions and he couldn't remember things because it's really from the other traits that we have in our unconscious where we get a lot of our strength, or those primal instincts as opposed to just the rational. Am I explaining that all right? I know it's kind of. I won't say
related to ego, superego,
Yes.
id?
That's Freud.
Freud.
Jung is more, but gold star for you on that one. Yeah. Actually, depth psychology, or Freud was the first one to popularize that. And he had the whole structure was the id, the superego, and the ego. And one was the rational, one was our unconscious, and one was there to just like be police officer between them. But, and he and Jung were very close. But then Jung, because the other thing about Freud is he wanted psychology to be a new science. He wanted to be science. And so to be a science, he had to have something that would work. He had to have a theory, or he really wanted a theory that he could put to everything. And that was his Oedipus complex, which was the whole idea that, men wanted to marry their mother and kill their father, and women basically had penis. Can I say penis on the air? Had penis envy.
After 11.
After 11. Oh, okay. You can blot me out. Okay. I won't get more into Freud than that. But in any case, Freud was working in Vienna, and he was doing a lot of society people who either were having issues or they had a child who had issues, and he was going back and and saying that it was all wish fulfillment, all the dreams were wish fulfillment, and it was the sexual wish fulfillment. Okay, you didn't hear that. Okay, so anyways, Freud was hey, so Jung was more about you have your conscious, and then you have the unconscious, and the unconscious is divided into the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious, and that there was different ways you could get into that, like dreams, and actually Freud was made famous on dreams of its 1900. That's when really depth psychology all started. Right after Darwin, but that's neither here nor there. But in any case, Jung was thinking that we're only really aware of our conscious ego because that's the perspective we see everything out of, right? But there's so much, but the psyche, again, includes this unconscious, the collective, which is things that everyone has. And he used the word complex a lot. But complex just means there's some unconscious stuff that's rising to the surface when you just can't help something. When you just, there's nothing you can do, you know that it's even wrong, but you can't help yourself, that means a complex has got you. Which is not even necessarily good or bad. It might be negative in the moment, but it's also a learning. Because you don't know this until it comes up to your consciousness. Freudian slips were like that too. Remember Freudian slips? Yeah. But in any case, the other way that complexes work are projections. And it goes a couple ways. If there's something that you really dislike about somebody, you just can't stand this in them, there's quite, 10 minutes, okay. There's quite a likely that's something that you need to deal with inside you. But you're just projecting it onto someone else. Because we don't like to see the parts that we don't like in ourselves, but it's much easier to see them in someone else. So when you see that, it's like, But the other way projection works is how you fall in love. Because when you see that person from across the room, your eyes lock, and it's like, yes, you are the man or woman or non-binary or non-dualistic gender of my dreams. That's because you're projecting onto them your own inner idea, your own inner ideal mate. So it works that way as well. And because that's, again, it's something that you just can't help it. And that means there's a complex there.
So we're all in love with ourselves.
Well, Freud liked narcissism a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of narcissism. But yeah, there you go. No, we each have an ideal.
Complex effect, huh?
Huh?
It's a complex effect, huh?
It's a complex effect. In fact, Jung was going to call depth psychology complex, but that's how you get in it. That's how you get to your personal unconscious. Whereas the collective unconscious, that's the archetypes. Like the great mother. Everyone somewhere has some sort of mother. Or the earth is the great mother. These are archetypes that everyone has in their life. Where other things are more like that's your issue. Like if you look, it's like, oh, that person is so bossy. It's like, oh, perhaps that's me, and I just don't like it. That sort of thing, particularly. But, oh wow, I talked a lot about that. You get me going.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, yes. I actually...
So how does it enter into the Star Trek?
Because all these ideas of Jung, and there's also archetypal psychology as well, they use a lot of big words, some of which I'm better at pronouncing than others. But the thing is, okay, that's fine that there's these ideas, but you shouldn't have to go to get a master's or PhD in psychology to understand these things, when it's really something that we all have. So my idea was to use something like Star Trek, which is, and use different episodes to make the ideas accessible. That's what I was doing with myth, because, hey, last week Star Trek was 55, not that I celebrated Star Trek Day or anything. September 8th, 1966, that was the first episode.
Do you think Gene Roddenberry was trying to explore these things with Star Trek?
I have so many theories about Gene Roddenberry. on who his alter theory was and these different things. I think that in a way, Star Trek was actually created as a response to what was going on in the U.S. in the 1960s. And they actually, when it was first being, actually Lucille Ball is the one we can thank for Star Trek. She greenlighted it. It actually, Lucille Ball, yes. She gave the green light to Star Trek, and actually it bankrupted her studio. I think they had to sell it. But if you ever watch the end, the credits, it says Desilu, it's Lucille Ball.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
She believed in this so much. So we love you, Lucy. But in any case, the pitch to Lucy was Wagon Train to the Stars, because at that time that was another way where they would work out issues that were going on in the present, but it would be in the past. But science fiction puts the issues of today in the future, and especially I think in the original series there was a lot of episodes that really dealt with a lot of the issues that we were facing, and still are, yes. And now even the new incarnations of Star Trek, they're very postmodern. They've gone, just reflecting the times. All of the Star Treks reflect, I think, the times that they were created in. Right.
Or they should.
They do their best. Even that is not perfect. But actually, what we should really talk about, and what we're really here to encourage, is PADNET, and how this wonderful, wonderful opportunity to anyone who lives in Long Beach. If you want to create TV show, you have the opportunity. PADNET is here for you. And we wanted to talk about a little of the shows that have been created, that we've created, or we've discovered they're on PADNET, or padnet.tv online, okay? So what show would you like to talk about, James?
Actually, I created a show called Community Inspired Ministry.
Wow, okay.
How to start as... Drew was one of the instructors when we first started. Kind of like he gave me an idea, okay, how the content of your show. And I was just kind of like, okay, what am I going to call it? And how does it look like? And I had too many individual ideas, so I incorporated everything as 3. So it was very important to me, the lifestyle of Christianity.
Okay.
I saw the community works because the people, the pandemic didn't have any goods and stuff, so that was community as a whole.
Yeah.
Individuals who was out there, who was very inspiring. I seen them as, okay, this was a person who was very influential to the community. So I kind of used that second one in the ministry as, serving your everyday lifehood. Like, say, your fellow man, you serve him. You help him out. And it was very important because with the channels I see with television, it's like we missed that. And with this pandemic, we lost our fellowship.
Okay.
With humankind. And for me, just kind of like, hey, let's start from the basics as okay, let's show this community as hey, we can help one another. And we're seeing PADNET, Drew, helping us as hey, with the videos and teleprompter, showing how to, use the camera and stuff like that. That was very communicative work that he did. And I said, okay, I want to see how to do this, well as the back end, behind the scenes, well as in front.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, let me do a service for the people. So that's basically, I did, and every segment that I do is more as in encourage the people to listen to certain topics.
Okay.
And, this last week I went out to a community doing their service.
Nice.
So that's pretty much.
And Drew, what have you discovered on PADNET or created? I know you're creative.
Much in the same way. I found out about PADNET. I was still am mostly an actor, but finding out about PADNET.TV gave me the opportunity to sort of delve into the filmmaking process. So I learned as much as I could. Then I started instructing, became an instructor here at PADNET, where we try to teach people how to use all the resources and how to make their own shows just like this. And then I made my own show, which is a puppet show. And it's mostly a puppet just yelling at people with sketches in between that sort of, figured like how do we sort of show people what they can do with the equipment, whether it's in the studio or outside the studio. So I figured, when I own a bunch of puppets, I have some puppetry training. So how can we do something a little different and really try and figure out how to utilize every aspect of the resources and community that we have here. So we kind of started putting together some very, very weird stuff.
And I actually do have a show on air from a few years back, The Myth Is All Around Us. It was just 4 episodes, though. I got busy in school, but I'm actually going to be starting one looking at Star Trek through depth psychology. And that's all the time we have, folks. I can't believe it. It's passed so quickly. So we'll hope you see you all back for the next episode. And thank you for watching.
Wow, this episode is a real thinker, isn't it? We hope that you learned something new about health, fitness, and depth psychology. We also hope that you are inspired to create content that you would like to share with the community. That concludes today's show. If you're interested in participating in future episodes of PADNET Presents, we invite you to join us in the studio. Follow us on social media or sign up for our weekly newsletter to receive announcements on upcoming brainstorm meetings to plan future filming dates. Thank you for watching PADNET Presents, and remember to make your media.